Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for taking time out for all of us here. आप दोनों के बहुत extensive experiences हैं in the education industry, especially in Pakistan, obviously. Can you please give us a little introduction about your own experience as well as how you're trying to implement and see the technology sector within the education field in Pakistan?
Assalamu alaikum. This is Professor Dr. Khalid Khan. Right now I'm the Associate Dean at KEET, and all the computer science related programs are my responsibility. We offer actually the complete domain of CS, like from AI to blockchain, not exactly blockchain, AI to cybersecurity, software engineering to data science, and then ERP to traditional computer science. So we are offering actually 6 bachelor's programs, and obviously to cater with that, we have very specialized faculty available. Currently we are around 64 people teaching only computer science, handling a student population of around 2,500 or so. यहाँ हमें जो आने का मकसद है वो ये है, डिसरप्शन तो ऑब्वियसली है और वही 4 बातें हर जगह कही जाती हैं. That is AI, data science, blockchain और IoT. और इन्हीं रियल वर्ल्ड में यही सारी टेक्नोलॉजीज आपस में इंटरमिंगल कर रही हैं to give a real solution. Academia can only teach few courses, of course, can train the students, but the real learning lies always in the industry, and I am a firm believer of that. So, हम टॉय प्रोजेक्ट्स करते हैं और उन टॉय प्रोजेक्ट्स पे स्टूडेंट ट्रेन होते हैं और फिर वो इंडस्ट्री में जाते हैं, लेकिन वो इतना कर लेते हैं या उनको इतना कराने का हमारा विजन होता है कि they are able to achieve a bit. With the recent, I must say, the collaboration HEC is doing with the universities, and Jawwad would agree with me. HEC so बहुत push कर रही है towards the startup. They are giving lots of funding as well, and for various projects through various competitive grants. तो उसके ज़रिए कीट ने भी बहुत सारी grants win की और हम मुख्तलिफ चीज़ों पे काम कर रहे हैं. मैं 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स आपके सामने रख देता हूँ जिसमें हम इंडस्ट्री के साथ काम कर रहे हैं. One is we are doing an IoT based air quality monitoring, and this is a merger of IoT with AI and deep learning. Second, it's a smart grading conveyor belt system जो automated है और decision making कर रहा है. तो again this is an IoT system और इसके ऊपर जो decision making हो रही है वो deep learning से हो रही है. The third that is under approval is a cloud base. What I want to say is कि 2 clouds आपस में integrate करेंगे, 2 या 2 से ज़्यादा through blockchain, और जो कि आज के लिए relevant है और इसका POC हम किसी हद तक कर चुके हैं. blockchain मैं ही देखता हूँ वहाँ पे 2 कोर्सेज हैं हमारे पास फ़िलहाल और साइबर सिक्योरिटी के प्रोग्राम में, और हम इस तरफ फोकस कर रहे हैं. और like it's been around, I must say, 5 semesters that we have been offering this. तो कोई 2.5-3 साल से हम स्पेसिफिकली फोकस हैं इस बात पे जो आज यहाँ पे हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. That would suffice.
What about you, Mr. Jawwad?
Assalamu alaikum. I am just to give you a brief introduction. I'm the Dean of Computing at FAST University. We have about 5 campuses across Pakistan. Computer science education began from FAST in the country, and we have been pioneered about that, and we've been offering different specialization degree program at the BS level as well. That includes BS AI, BS Data Science, BS it's like cybersecurity, BS Software Engineering, and BS Computer Science. So we do realize the importance of technology and incorporation of technology and imparting latest technological trends. And our students are also very much passionate to acquire this knowledge. But I mean, I think the real problem in the country at the moment is that, I mean, at this front, there is a gap between academia and industry, and that gap exists because of, I mean, various reasons. And for that, I mean, the thing is that both the academia and the industry, they have to work together to bridge that gap. We have also acquired various funding, did projects from HEC. We have produced various PhDs who are serving other academic, I mean, universities at the country as well. So, but at the moment, I think, I mean, the real need is that, I mean, it's like both academia and industry, they have to work together to solve the real problem of masses of the country.
That's a very good point. And it's true that the industry and academia have to work together. But before we dive more deeper into this conversation, let's hear from our virtual guests, Clara and Connor.
Yeah, good day, Clara and Pascal. First of all, I would like to tell our audience here that there is a 5 seconds lag between when we will be sending like our message to Clara and Pascal, Clara and Connor, they will have a 5-second delay. And when they will send us the reply, so let's assume that there will be experience issue. So anyway, so Clara, I would start from you. Would appreciate if you can share the journey of yours in the tech world and briefly what is your career story till now.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Here from Madrid, Spain. Yes, so, well, my name is Clara Pascual, and I am the coordinator of BSV MENA Hub. And I started to learn about blockchain back like 7 years ago. I started to learn about it and the world that, how it started to impact the world, not only in the financial, which is the way I started to learn from, but then I started to learn how it also can impact our world, and especially with the technology nowadays, that we can find how blockchain can fill the gap for some problems that we have now with advancement of technology.
Connor, over to you. Would you like to share your journey in the blockchain?
Sure. So my story is actually pretty similar. I've been involved in the blockchain space for a number of years, but definitely I got started very interested in the fact that money could flow freely across the globe frictionlessly. So definitely one of the best use cases for blockchain technology is the ability for me to communicate with you across the globe and value. But then also, as we've learned over the past number of years, blockchain is also a way to securely store data and to securely do computation in an improved way. And so I actually do work with the Bitcoin Association, and we run an academy for BSV. So it's a full academy that runs you through theoretical coursework and development coursework. So anyone can take the course today for free online, and you can go from knowing absolutely nothing about blockchain and BSV in general and becoming an expert.
Clara, if you can describe us how the academia can support the, we were discussing before this panel that there is a need of blockchain expertise and there is a big gap in that. So how the academia can support in filling up that gap?
Yes, so one of the cases that can provide a lot of help in the and verification of educational credentials, and it is more common than what we think actually, or at least that what I thought. And what happens is a big problem for the recruiters because there was a study even made that says that a company that hires a wrong person, or a person that has a fake certification actually costs the company around $15,000 extra. And not only that, but also all the damage, the collateral damage that can create. Imagine if someone hires a person that has a fake certification of an engineer, and well, what can that, how can that impact in the constructions or in the constructions? Or a doctor, for example, someone that has a fake doctor certification. So there is a huge problem actually in the industry with how easy now it is to create a fake certification, and what the solution is to how can we verify that the certifications and the credentials are real. And the process that we are using nowadays are much slower. I mean, it takes more time, more money, more resources. So with blockchain, we can also assure saving time, saving money, saving resources, and also for sure, the key word here, I believe, is trust. So nowadays, with the advancement of technology for the last 20 years or more, we are starting to enter a world where if we can say a metaphor, when we shake hands, this was historically a way to show, honesty, transparency, and now we can say that with the advance of technology, we can then say that this blockchain can provide that shake of hands, like the QR can be that sign of credibility and trust.
Right. Connor, what's your view about academia supporting the blockchain competence development gap?
Yeah, so definitely our goal is to make it as easy as possible for anyone, especially developers that have absolutely no experience interacting with blockchain technology, to get their hands dirty immediately and be able to build an application by the end of the course. So what we actually are hoping to do is invite companies. If you have a developer that maybe they're a really skilled developer, but they know absolutely nothing about all of the different facets of blockchain technology, you can have them sign up for the coursework at bitsv.academy. Become very proficient in all of the different areas that blockchain technology comes into. So for us, it's just really important to provide a resource for, so across the internet, there are hundreds of companies that are trying to take your money to provide a certificate in expertise, and we wanted to change that by providing free coursework that is a lot more in-depth and in our opinion is just miles ahead of all the other coursework that's out there. So we hope to provide this for companies and just researchers in general to get more skilled with the technology itself.
Thank you, Clara and Connor. So, Mr. Jawwad and Mr. Khalid, I would love to come back to an initial point you made, which is we were talking about the gap in the academia and the industry. So, both of you have this huge responsibility of training the future of this country. And thank you so much for doing that. But I would love to hear your perspective on why do you think that gap is? Because I'm pretty sure you're doing your best to teach the students, prepare them, but then that still doesn't happen when they go out. So, Mr. Jawwad, back to you.
All right, thank you. There are many reasons for this gap. Okay, but the prime reason...
Sorry, can I add, we can talk about the reasons, but also how do we bridge the gap, if you can also talk about that.
I think in order to bridge the gap, we need to understand the reasons first. So the prime reason is that there's a lack of confidence building measures across both sides. I mean, for that to be bridged, both of them have to be very open. And one way of doing that is that industry has been focusing on acquiring the best of the talent. There's no doubt and that's what they should do. But what about if the industry should try to bridge the gap through the faculty? So let's suppose if there is a requirement, so And that requirement can be bridged by having some framework through which the faculty members can visit the industry and do their projects. So once a faculty member is involved in the industrial projects, he or she would have a better idea of the technology and the challenges which are there at the industry, and he or she will make sure that those challenges are addressed during the course. That's one way of doing that. The second way of doing that is that industry has a concern that the graduates which are graduating, they are not employable, they are lacking in certain directions. So what about if those directions or those challenges or those concerns are communicated to the faculty well in advance through their final year projects, so that should be based on industry. And for that, there are certain constraints at the academia side that we cannot have a project over 6 months. We have to follow the guidelines of the Higher Education Commission. It has to be a one-year project. So some sort of mechanism has to be developed, because the industry has a strict timeline. They have like 6 months or like only a few months deadlines in their projects. So that gap will remain unless both of them will sit together and sort out, just like point by point on each point. So similarly, I think another very important point is this, that industry can, I'm sure, most of the industry are doing that, but they should seriously think of increasing the internships, the number of interns who are going to be there and spending some time, from the academia, students and the faculty during this like third year, so that by the time these students, they complete their education, they have a better understanding of what their challenges are. So these are the few points which can be addressed. Yes, thank you.
Mr. Khalid, what about you? Specifically concerning also like your students and your university students, what pattern are you seeing?
All right. Jawwad actually covered all 3 points, which are the 3 major points. What I feel that the top management of the university should actually release the lecturers and the assistant professors a bit. They are supposed to do a lot at our places if we compare it with the international arena. So when you shed the load of teaching a bit on the faculty members, then we can expect them to go out to visit industry, to do confidence building measures, to show some POCs to the industry so that they can actually be thinking, okay, these people can do something like that. That's one. Second, the industry, of course, have very stringent deadlines, but there would be certain projects at every industry partner where they are not looking to invest their resources into. Resources in terms of human resource. So they may have some back office projects for which they do not have some specific deadlines, but they want to see how that particular thing would perform if bring to life. And for all such projects, the university should make themselves available as such their faculty and their students. But for that, the industry needs to come out. And me as academia, I take more responsibility on that we should be approaching, our faculty should be approaching. And for that, faculty's load of teaching, I feel that needs to be reduced.
I think Dr. Khalid has mentioned a wonderful point, and I would like to re-emphasize that. The problem with the current model of academia is this, that they only measure a performance of the faculty member in terms of, let's say, number of publications, number of courses, or number of students being supervised. They don't have a mechanism that how much industrial projects have you actually accomplished. They don't have that. So even if I'm concerned that even if industry offers, there will be very few of the faculty members who will be ready to take that challenge unless and until the faculty members are being forced to do that. And the only way of doing that is to include that in their performance as a metric. So let's suppose, I still remember the time that 10 years ago when there was a very, minimal trend from the faculty to publish, research papers. And that was because the university management does not have any inclusion of this point that how many papers you have published in each year. But since that point has been incorporated, we are seeing more and more, research papers now. So I'm sure that if they can, frame out a mechanism, through which they can have a measurement that how many industrial projects are you supervising, or how, what is the commercialization aspect, in your projects. We may see some improvement in that direction as well.
Thank you so much for providing that perspective. I have one last burning question for the two of you, but before I ask that, I'll hand over to Saad and see if he has anything more to add.
Yes, I have one last question for Connor and Clara, different ones. Clara, if you can share how the new people can start into the journey of learning blockchain. And Connor, it will be the follow-up question for you, that what is your experience with the University of Karachi program, how you are seeing that happening, going on, and how we can scale it up for other universities as well. So first Clara and then Connor.
Yes, so everyone who is new in the space, they can start. There are a few books that can give you a great overview of what blockchain is, especially if you're totally new, and then you can go a little bit deeper into your own area, in your own expertise, and then see how what cases have been already applied using blockchain in your own area, industry, or field. For example, if you're an engineer, you can start seeing how blockchain is being implemented in your industry.
And from my perspective, I'll also add on to that, because obviously I'm in favor of it. Everyone, if you are interested in learning more about blockchain, you should go to bitcoinsv.academy and you can take our coursework for free. But I'll just talk briefly about our work with the University of Karachi. So we are working with a group of students, and we are just going through the development stream course from the academy, accompanying it with lectures every week. And probably my favorite part so far about doing this was when we were interviewing students to begin with. The common refrain from a lot of the students was that blockchain technology is an emerging market, and they wanted to get involved in an emerging market. And the excitement from the beginning was really exciting for us as educators. So, and like one of the panelists there said, being able to merge education with industry is something that's really important, and especially with an emerging market like blockchain technology. So we've been doing that work with the University of Karachi. It's been great. A lot of the students are quite interested and some of them are even smarter in computer science than I am. And so that's really exciting to see. And in fact, I think, I have my own company, and we have other companies in the BSV space that I think will be interested in working with these students when they complete the course. So I just think becoming proficient in this technology is really important. And I think there's a hunger for students that are proficient in blockchain technology. So for us, it's been a delight.
Thank you. So one last question I have for the two of you is, we hear academia says industry is not doing enough, there are not many opportunities out there. The industry says academia is not preparing the kids, that's not happening. What would you say to the kids sitting out here? They're kind of sandwiched between the fight between academia and industry. What can they do to really develop themselves and, create their own futures? What are your two advices? Mr. Khalid first.
All right. As we are talking about blockchain, so let's stick to that.
Sure.
Me being a blockchain enthusiast, teaching like for 3 years. I trained myself in Malaysia on my postdoc. Had a couple of impact factor publication, few POCs with me. I have very different view of blockchain. Am I allowed to share?
Please.
So what I feel, blockchain is nothing but a combination of 5 courses that we teach students in first 3 semesters. All right, it's about object-oriented programming, data structures, cryptography, and other InfoSec course, and the peer-to-peer networks, right? So if we go about it like that, so for me, blockchain is more like the icing on the cake, the building with the glass everywhere, but the first 2 years are the foundation. And if your foots are on ground, you can put any glass that is in. If it may be IoT, may be AI, may be anything, and may be blockchain. So for my advice to the kids is stick to the basics. I'm an old school person. I look like as well. So stick to the basics. Put your foot on ground. First 2 years with your footing on ground, and on the basis of which any new disruption, you'll be able to adapt to that.
Thank you. Any last words, Mr. Jawwad?
Yes, I have a few advices for our young generation. I second what Khalid has said, that you have to have a very strong hold of the fundamental computing science concepts. They are not going to change, believe me. I mean, whatever technology comes, I mean, whatever new concepts, I mean, whatever new ideas come, they are and they will be based on the fundamental of computing science. So those fundamental concepts, you should have a absolute command: operating systems, object-oriented programming, data structures, algorithms. You know, these are the, I mean, few of those. But on top of that, you have to compete with the world. The world is changing very, very fast. You don't have much time. So get yourself out of this like textbook approach. You know, you have to think and you have to learn out of the textbook. Don't stick yourself to the textbook. You have enough resources available. You just go on Google, on YouTube, on Coursera. There are plenty of lectures. Go and seek knowledge. Don't limit yourself. You should have a passion to acquire knowledge, and don't stick yourself that I am just a QA person, I'm just a networking person.
Excuse me, Dos.
You should have...
Just give us a minute. Let me announce that our chief guest, Mr. Syed Aminul Haq, who is the Minister of Information Technology, has just joined us, and we welcome him from the deep of our heart and core of our heart, on behalf of IR Next and the management. So thank you very much, sir, for joining us. And I apologize for that, please.
Sorry, Mr. Jawwad.
So you should have that passion that whatever your path is, you will get to your destiny if you have this thirst, this zeal to acquire knowledge and go with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was very insightful. And both of you, thank you so much for being on this panel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Clara and Connor, thank you so much for being part of this panel. We learned a lot, and thank you. A big round of applause for all of them. Thank you.